guys, welcome to Truth Talkin' Thursday. This is Jim, I'm Jane, and we've got our hot drinks again here, but there's no emotion with it this week. It's just good. It's just nice and hot and good. So last week we were chatting a little bit about being assertive and being aggressive and the difference in those two. And we kind of left last week. We didn't really talk about that much, but I got thinking about those two things this week. And in thinking about that, it kind of led me to another thought as far as what makes us as individuals think that others, whether it be, friends, family, acquaintances, why do we feel that people need to think like we do, or dress a certain way, or behave a certain way? Why do we feel that way?
As I was saying, I think there's lots of reasons why we do that. I think some of it is upbringing. Some of it is needing other people to see how bright and dedicated we are to certain things. I think it's there's all kinds of reasons why, social reasons why. Parenting probably has something to do with it. Maybe being bullied at some point in your life had something to do with it. Lots of reasons why, but it happens a lot, like you were saying, and we had chatted a little bit before we put this on the camera. We were talking about just accepting the fact that people have a right to see things as they do, to think about things as they do, and so do I. And if I don't try to convince somebody else that they're wrong so that they can be on my side, kind of thing. This isn't about building sides. This is about having a conversation and maybe learning something from somebody else, and all that kind of thing too. So I'm pretty comfortable in my own skin about where I am in my life and what I know and what I don't know. And there's an awful lot that I don't know, and I'm learning all the time. But there's some things that I have picked up along the way that I believe to be true for me. They support my morals and my values and all that sort of thing. And so I will defend those because they're right to me. And it's not a matter of trying to convince you that you should think and feel the same way as I do. I'm going to tell you how I see things, what that means to me, how that influences the quality of my life and all that kind of thing. And if you like what you hear, you can buy into some of it. And if you don't, then you don't. That's all. But my life goes on. So, and I continue to live my life that way, unless somebody comes along with a better argument and says, yes, but have you thought about it this way? And it makes more sense to me than how I'm doing it currently.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a constant quest for learning. That's for me. And if I don't listen, then I can't learn.
And maybe part of it is a lot of us have a need to be accepted.
Yeah.
And as you were talking there, I was just thinking how what you were describing, those tendencies that we have it seems like can either lead us to aggressive behavior or assertive behavior. And part of that, I think, comes from feeling comfortable in your own skin. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering now, further to this conversation, so how do you get to the point to be comfortable in your own skin? And I'm wondering, is it possible that people that have an experience or experiences in their life that shake them right to their very core, that actually makes them stop short and think in whatever way, whether it's a health concern, a relationship concern, an accident, whatever. When that happens, it seems like it could swing you either way. It could make you bitter and aggressive, or it could make you thoughtful and assertive.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I follow that.
And I'm just wondering, is that how we get to the point of being comfortable in our own skin, when we have spent enough time searching and thinking about what actually we believe and think and feel and where we come from and where we want to go. And that has to be aside from father, mother, siblings, spouse, friends, anybody. It's got to be your thoughts.
Right. Yeah, and that's the really important piece of the whole thing. I think you hit it right on and nail right in the head with it. I think it just there's an old saying. I'll try and get this straight the first time. One never feels more alive than someone who's really close to death. And to me, it's the same thing. It's one of those things that really sharpens your attention in a hurry. This could be all done in the next 10 seconds, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people that have that experience are stopped short, and they're brought up quickly, and you make an immediate decision that, you know what, it's as much as I appreciate your point of view, it's not all that important to me. It's more about how important my point of view is around the quality of my life and what I need to do to attain that. The aggressive and the assertive piece is about I can't remember whether we mentioned it last week or not, but the difference between those two is aggressive people force their way upon other people, not considering the other person's needs or not respecting the other person's needs. I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to do it whether you like it or not. I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and I don't care how that affects you.
And you're lucky I'm discussing it with you at all.
At all, yes. So just shut up and stay where you are.
Yeah.
And that's a very aggressive place to be for people. Assertive people, it's not that they don't want the same things as they did before, but they won't go after it or go at it at the expense of your needs. So in other words, assertive people tend to say, this is what I need, but they don't go at it with the idea of eliminating your needs or your feelings in the process. The assertive people will respect that and try to find another way of bringing you into the conversation so that you understand what's happening.
And thinking about being aggressive, I was just thinking how I believe there's a place for aggression.
There is.
And it's funny because I am not an aggressive person. I don't like confrontation. I don't feel very comfortable with very many people discussing what I think and feel.
Good.
You're an exception. Anyway, but I was thinking, without a doubt, and without question, if my children, you've met my son, 6'6", big honking kid.
Yep.
But if my son or my daughter is in danger, Mama Bear will come out. I personally would not say that I am a violent or confrontational person. I feel that I think I've even had problems in the past with being assertive. I'd rather let somebody walk all over me than be assertive. I've changed my mind.
Yeah, one's as bad as the other in some cases, in some instances.
Yes.
Aggression isn't a bad thing. It just often gets misused.
Yes, exactly.
People that are wanting to be assertive and are trying to be assertive are often aggressive. They mix the two up.
Yes.
And it's just a matter of understanding that this really gets down to basic rights, human rights.
Yes.
Aggressive people less often worry about your human rights or your personal rights,
right,
and more about what they want.
Yes.
And assertive people will certainly take into consideration what your rights are and your needs are, and how this is going to affect you and all that kind of stuff before they act. So with your kids, sure. Lots of times, lots of places where aggression is the appropriate emotion. No question about it. When you find yourself in a tough spot, you know, if you're threatened in some way, you may have to be aggressive. If somebody's standing there with a gun on you, that's not the time to be aggressive.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not a good choice.
So you have to. It's a matter of learning how to what's the right time. It's not a matter of eliminating one for the other. It's a matter of when is the appropriate time to be aggressive and when is the appropriate time to be assertive. Most people don't understand that difference yet.
I agree. I totally agree with that. And I think that on that note, possibly we can give that some thought over the coming week. thinking about those things and go from there.
Yeah. Next week, maybe what we could do is do a little thing for folks out there that are having difficulty with their kids negotiating around, you know, household chores and stuff like that. How do you bring your kids into the family realm of you know, let's be assertive as opposed to aggressive. How do we attempt to be assertive with our kids as opposed to being aggressive? Because being aggressive with your kids isn't going to work.
That's a great idea. I like that. So if you have any specific ideas that you're having trouble with, and you would like us to maybe kind of role play or give some thought as to situations that we can sort through, like, you know, laundry or helping with dishes or what have you, you can send either of us a message, and we'll take that up next week. So have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for stopping by.